Back in the shed again, and we're on the Prado again. We are, don't know what part series this is going to be, but we've got a load of goodies that need to go in the car somewhere, and essentially we're starting the fit out of the car. Not too sure where we're going to go with this video, but back seats, they got to come out. Probably going to have to vacuum everything up, and the drawers are probably going to be staying in there. See how we go. If we can get away with leaving them in there, they're bloody good, but we'll have to, I guess, reinforce these. A couple of little screws are coming out. We'll check everything, make sure everything's tight, and I guess clean all this out, ready for the upgrades that we got going on here. So essentially the upgrades that we have got going on in the back of the Prado is going to be living quarters for one. Rooftop tent will be going back on the top there, and I'm going to need, well, the fridge is going to have to go back in. Little cooker's going to be going back in, but the back seats are going to be coming out, and we're putting a little water tank in there and a bigger lithium battery to power everything, or I guess everything that I need to power. But yeah, we're going to go from here. We're going to rip everything out and start on that. Be a couple of trips to Bunnings to try and build another floor, a false floor along there where the rear seats are. Hopefully we'll be able to hide the battery, water tank, inverter as well. We've got a big 2000 watt Renogy inverter, but hopefully we can build a false floor and hide it all under there. So I guess we'll get into it. We'll get rid of these seats, try and have a look at these drawers, if we can fix them up. If we can fix them up without taking them out, that'll be top notch. Let's get into it. So I do want to start this video as well, just saying that in WA you do need an LK1 permit to remove the rear seats in the Prado. I don't want to show too much at the start of this video, but we are looking towards that. The only problem is you have to permanently cover up the original mounting holes, which I don't really want to permanently cover up because the rear seats will be going back in at a later date. So yeah, we're still looking into it, but essentially what we've got in there now, what we've built, is removable. So we'll play it by ear with what we can find out. So here we are. That's the second row seats out of the Prado gone. And that's probably, what is this, 2010? 12 years worth of crap collecting under there. And I think I'm the second owner, so that's fair. But that went a lot easier than I thought. What was it? 2, 4, 10 bolts, something like that, and they're out. So happy days. We're now gonna, I guess we'll give it a big vacuum up, clean up, try and clean as much crap as we can out of there. Already winning though, $2 up there, $1 down there, so pretty good. We'll get the vacuum out, give it a clean up. Well, that's come up a lot better than I thought, really. It's not perfect, but it's going to be good enough for me. You can see the little puddles as well of where, when we're in Cape York, the car did get a little bit of water in. I remember seeing it wet down here, but it looks like there was some puddles of water there, which is, I guess, no big deal. Under here, under the carpet, there's some little plastic, just styrofoam things, which I'd love to get out just to get me a little bit more clearance there, but to get them out, I think we're going to have to cut the carpet. I don't really want to do that. And so I do want to, I guess, carry along this height, along to about there, drop it down, and then try and reuse these mounting points for, I guess, whatever we're building in here. And the floor, we can reuse them as a bit of a floor. But I think for now, with all that done, I've got to strip some more stuff out, some more electrical gear. I'm going to redo these, try and fix these up without taking them out. And then we'll see how we go, see what else we can do for today. Also, I've got to do a lot of planning to do as well. Essentially where the electric system's going to go. I've got a big 280 amp hour lithium battery on the way, which is going to be going in here somewhere. So we're going to have to build around the specs of that. But that's temporary as well. That battery will be going in a new caravan when we get it, hence why we're getting such a big, powerful battery. But we'll get a little water tank in here as well. Got a little water tank there and pump. We'll try and get that in there just to mock things up, see where it sits in your head. So before we arrived back home, we did a fair bit of ordering, and the main sort of component of ordering was a water tank. We lacked a water tank while we were traveling back in the rooftop tent. Being out of the van sort of gave us what was good. It gave us a bit of an idea, gave me a bit of an idea of what I needed for just myself. And instead of carrying around water containers, I thought I'll get one of these. It is a 43 litre modular caravan and RV water tank. And I believe it was about $40 odd from Outback Equipment, who I've dealt with them before. They're bloody pretty good. But we got a little pump as well, which is $100, about $150 for both of these. And I used to send you a sticker. Now they've got $100 wine vouchers and stuff like that, which is, I guess, going to con you to buy more crap. But happy days there. This little tank, it's 43 litres. In my head, down there somewhere. In my head, it's going to be somewhere like that, which butts up really nice against those drawers. And then somehow run the pump. I don't know which end we're going to have the inlets and outlets. Maybe that end, or maybe this end. I've got to do some thinking regarding cooking setup. Because I know when we chuck the fridge back in here, it takes up a lot of room, that 95 litre fridge. Cooking will be on this. So water, I don't know if it'd be worth having a small tap here or having it up high or even over there. I don't know yet. We've got to think about that. Yeah, we'll get to that. But also, battery wise, not too sure where the battery's going to go. Like I say, we'll try and false floor up to about here and then square it off along there. So the battery should have plenty of room with an inverter and all the other electrical gear. And then I guess a flat shelf on top there for whatever other crap we got, chairs, whatever. But that's the general idea. So I guess we'll crack into ripping the rest of this electrics out and fixing these drawers up. So that is all the electrics out. I've still got one cord running which I don't want to pull out. It's an Anderson plug here, another Anderson plug down there. I don't want to pull that out simply because that we can reuse that as a solar plug, or we can reuse it as a power plug, and it's already run all right. Nice thick cables, so yep, that can stay there. But all this stuff is going to be hopefully reused. Reuse things like that. Little fuse block, clean that up, reuse that. A couple of Anderson plugs. We'll see how much we can reuse that, because cables are expensive and I'm cheap. But also we did have this hidden down there, DC-DC charger, which has solar input, and that's where we're running into our problem on the way back. Is it's a weird system. It prioritizes the car when it's running, and it doesn't take any solar power when the car's running. When the car's off, it then takes solar power, which is a bit, I don't know, a bit weird. So we weren't getting the full potential there. But we did manage to pick one of these up, which I did have in the caravan, and they're bloody top notch. A little Victron Smart Solar 7515. So that's going to be going somewhere in the system under the, I guess, the flat floor there with the DC-DC. So they're both going to be working at the same time there. So pretty happy with that. And it's Bluetooth, which you can't go wrong with these. They're bloody excellent bit of gear. So I guess now I can start piecing together what I've got to get at Bunnings. A nice big, I guess, flat bit of ply there for the bottom and for the top, and somehow work something out to mount it there, because these are angled, they're not completely straight. So I'll have to get on the a little notepad, have a little draw around of that. I've still got to remove this as well. This is our internet, I guess, aerial, which hasn't really done much. It worked pretty damn good when we first got it, but it just slowly died. I'm not too sure if it's the cables knackered or the aerial. But we'll rip that out as it's no longer needed, and might even have a look into getting a better aerial, newer aerial. See how we go once it's out. But we'll start sketching. I might even just chuck everything in here and see how it all fits. It might give me a better idea. Got to get all that crap under there somehow, and I'd love to also get an air compressor, probably get another one with a auto shut off or whatever the systems are. Get one of them, but I want to get all that under there, and I think just from looking at it, I'm going to have to just build the base first and then go from there. I'd love to have this mounted hard against there and then sort of build a little, I guess, wall around it. Just in case it does leak, I'd rather have it contained in its own little compartment and not leak on the battery. I think we're going to be heading into Bunnings to get a couple of pieces of ply. Sweet. And also, battery-wise, dealing with Power Paul, he's on Facebook, he builds lithium batteries, and everything he does is bloody top-notch. And I've ordered a battery with him, the 280 amp hour lithium battery, and he's been bloody helpful. He's the dimensions of the battery are 265, which is pretty much up to here. I think the draw height here is 270? 260. So we're going to be really tight there, but messaging him, asking him, you can lay his batteries down, giving us a height of 190 laying down. So that's going to be good. It's just going to be a bigger footprint. But anywho, I'll get a little list of things that I'm going to need, and we'll head into Bunnings, get some gear. So after a quick trip to Bunnings, we'll grab some beer as well, but we got some little brackets that'll mount on there somehow, and we can bend the brackets however we need. I'm not too sure how it's going to work, but it's sort of the closest thing to the idea I've got in my head, and we'll make it work somehow. We've got a big sheet of, I guess, MDF out the back there, which we're going to cut. I'm going to start cutting up soon, but also this, I'm going to mount these, I guess, flush on the floor somehow like that, and that gives me something to screw the sheet straight into then, instead of having to cut holes and mount using these. You can mount them on there and just screw straight into them. Oh no, something like that's gonna do us. It's fixed pretty well down. I guess I'll go cut a sheet of MDF ply, whatever I've got out there, and whack it over the top of it and see what we've got to do at the front here. But that gives me, I guess, some good mounting points. With the 4 at the front there, that should do, I think, because we'll have it all braced with some panels running along there, the other side, and then the top will brace it even more. So as for building the front up of this sort of draw platform system, whatever you want to call it, I've got these little plates here, which were, I think, 8 of them for $3.30. So I can use 4 of them. I've had to re-drill the holes a little bit bigger, but I'm going to reuse 4 of them on the front here, or use 4 on the front. And then the other 4 I'm going to use on the top there to mount the water container, sort of hold it into position. But my idea here is, I guess, we'll mount all 4 on, and then just give them a couple little taps, get them level, and then put I guess a bit of wood along the front there, if we can. We should be able to do it. There is this little bit sticking out, which we haven't got anywhere else. It's just that little bit, but it should clear that and get us a nice batten along the front there. So that is pretty much what I was aiming for. It's worked out pretty good. It's not perfect. There's a million different other ways you can do it, but essentially that gives us something that we can mount the front board on and screw straight into, and the back of the board you can screw straight into that. So that's pretty much the base done. We can chuck that there on there and we should be pretty good. Apart from height at the front, that's where we do need the board coming straight up to get the heights. So I guess that'll be the next job, getting a board on the front that'll match the height of that, so then we can just lay the base straight on the top. Like I say, as well, there's a million other ways to do it. This is just the way that's sort of working in my head at the moment and the way we're rolling with, so it's all going good. Well, I think that's going to do us. Somehow we'll try and wrangle it into the car and see how we go. We can start laying stuff out. All we really got to do now is the top and I guess carpet it, which I'm not too sure how I want to go about carpeting it. Marine carpet's expensive, 60 bucks a square metre. I don't know. I would like it to match the drawers carpet, but I don't know. I don't know if I can justify $60 a square metre to carpet that, well, the top and the sides, anything that's seen. So I'll have to look into it, I guess. But we'll get it in there and have a look how she sits. Another thing I did think about after building all this is our little 12-volt cooker down there. If somehow I can mount that on the side, if I've got the room in there, it'd be bloody top notch, but we'll look at that once we've got it all in there. Go from there, I guess. So we'll get it in there, see what it looks like. So one thing I did completely forget about, I guess, is the little 12-volt cooker. I do want to mount it in this, so it's all tucked away, out the way, not going to get hit by anything, and gives me this big flat surface on top. So I did forget to put that in here and mark it and cut it before, which is no stress. It's only 4 bolts at the moment, or 4 screws holding this in. So I guess we're going to be pulling it out again, pulling that side off and cutting that out like that with a jigsaw. Probably just run it the whole way through that corner there, save having a little tab like that. Then that's going to give us, I guess, the ability to have that pushed out a little bit and then mount it in there, and then all the electrics down this end. As for water, we're pushing it really tight there. The pump's going to fit just in that little gap there, which is going to be really tight as well. So we've got to get some more fittings for that. We've got to cut that out, and we've got to do another little top for there. And then I'm thinking this other compartment, I'm going to have on a hinge system sort of thing, so I can hinge it up if I do need to get in there. Well, that was easy enough. We got it mounted up, cut it out with a jigsaw, easy. Mount it in the middle. We'll jump over the other side and I'll show you why. Well, essentially, this door is opened only about halfway, but I've mounted in the middle here simply because I want the full, I guess, opening of the door. And I couldn't really measure with the door only being half open without hitting the wall there. So I didn't want to chuck it all the way there. Middle, good enough. Easy enough as well. So that's one job down. So as for the pump, I have got that small gap here, which it should fit in, but it's very tight, and you can have it any way except for that way, I believe, in case water runs down into the pump motor, which is a pain because that fits in perfectly like that, not touching anything. But if I mount it this way, it's very tight, even rubs against the tank. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. I think we're just going to wait until Bunnings is open tomorrow, run the fittings, and then I guess mount it something like that. And that's going to have to do. Then we can completely close that up, and that's that done, really. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem rubbing against this tank. This tank's going to be mounted with those brackets I've got, and well, it's not going to be on for an extended period of time, so it shouldn't cause too much damage rubbing, vibrating against the tank. So essentially I'm just doing some little mock-ups in my head, but it's not really going as planned. I think the electrics video is going to be a separate video, definitely going to be a separate video, but it might be a bit of a tricky one just to find out where everything's going to go and how much space I guess I'm going to have left over. Try and make use of as little space as I can to try and give me, I guess, some more storage options, all while getting enough circulation around there, around everything. I do want to get a better pump than that, but they're the same size, a little bit longer, so that's all right. I've just sort of done some measurements there. But I think that's going to do us for this video. Yeah, a couple of things I've got to pick up from Bunnings for the next video. Waiting on some more Victron gear, some little bits coming in the post. But I think the next one's going to be essentially electrics and plumbing up the tank. But that is all the storage pretty much done. We've just got to do the covers, tops, which is nothing, and I guess make it look pretty, which I'm not too sure how I'm going to do. I don't want to pay full price. I don't want to pay for carpet. I've looked at a couple of different options, but yeah, I don't know. Let us know if you know of anything other than carpet that's sort of going to match that carpet at the back there. And it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. Also, let us know what you think of this little setup. What else I need. Yeah, I guess just let us know what you think. But anyway, cheers for watching. Not too sure how this video is sort of going to go. It's a bit of a different one. We're not on the road, but we're building, I guess, my little setup for the future. Anyway, cheers for watching. So essentially the upgrade base, and may as well get two, one for the top as well, which we can always cut, maybe three. So one thing I did completely forget about, I guess, is the little 12 volt cooker. We'll dip over the other side here.